Hi.
Everybody.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being part of the call. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to have you.
Oh my.
On the call right now, more people will join as we go.
Okay.
These are some of the biggest Billboard DJs in the country, remixers in the country, mixer radio guys. You look fantastic, Gloria.
Thank you.
You do.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely fantastic.
Wonderful.
So, you know, I was mentioning to some of the guys before you got on the call that because of my age, I was around the first time I Will Survive hit. And I thought I knew everything one needs to know about I Will Survive. Incorrect. So when we spoke the other day, I had no idea, and this is really how I want to start this meeting, about you winning a Grammy in 2020. And this is, you know, I mentioned on the last call that we had with another artist that there are some artists who have 1 or 2 hits in their life, maybe 3 or 4 hits in their life. And there are some artists that are relevant for a couple of years. Life moves on. In your particular case, it's 40 years now.
You know, is that crazy? I mean, I'm 39.
I know. So I'd like to talk a little bit about, if I may, and a lot of these calls are unconventional. We try not to ask questions or address things that you've been asked a million times. But your story is, at the very least, fascinating / unbelievable. So I'd like to start by, first of all, congratulating you on winning the second of 2 Grammys.
Yes, thank you.
Over the course of your lifetime. And
thank you.
the Grammy that you won is for Best Gospel Roots Album, I believe.
Yes.
And that's exactly 40 years after you won the Grammy for a category that is no longer around, which was the Best Disco Recording. There is no longer a category like that. In fact, that category, if I'm not mistaken, lasted only 1 year.
As far as I know.
Right.
I was told.
So before we get into the history of I Will Survive, which nobody can talk about like you, tell us a little bit about this gospel album.
Well, the gospel album is called Testimony because the songs are my testimony of my my faith and my faith walk. And so we thought that title was apropos, and all of the songs are pretty much autobiographical, especially Back on Top.
Interesting. You recorded I Will Survive, I believe, in 1978?
Yes.
However, before you recorded that record, Gloria, something happened to you at the Beacon Theater in New York.
Yes. I fell backwards over a monitor, and I jumped back up, finished the show, went out to breakfast afterwards, went home, went to bed, woke up the next morning paralyzed from the waist down. And I was in hospital for 3.5 months, during which time the record company said they were not going to renew my contract. When it ran out, that was going to be it. People were going around the company saying the Queen is dead. And it was looking pretty bleak. Well, you know how we all get to know the Lord when we have problems like that. I was not any different. So I really began to pray and read the Bible and study and all of that. And by the time I left the hospital, I was pretty sure that God was going to do something. I just wasn't sure what. But sure enough, a couple of months later, the record company called and told me they were not going to end my contract, that they'd gotten a new president over from England, and they'd had a hit with a song over there that they wanted to repeat the success here with me. So they sent me out to California to record a song called Substitute. I think it was very aptly named. And when I was there, I asked the producers what would be the B-side. And they said, well, we don't know. What kind of songs do you like? What kind of songs do you like to sing? I said, well, I like songs that are meaningful, have really good, strong lyrics that touch people's hearts, have good melodies. They said, we think you're the one we've been waiting for to record this song we wrote 2 years ago. So I've always believed that the good Lord told them, look, sit down, write this song, hold on to it, I'm going to send you somebody. And then when they saw me, they determined that I was the one they've been waiting for. I read the lyrics and I'm thinking, in effect, I said to them, what are you, nuts? You're going to put this on the B side? This is a timeless lyric. This is a lyric everybody's going to be able to relate to. I'm standing here relating my situation with my back to this thing. I'm relating to it the fact that my mother passed away just a few years ago, something I never thought I'd survive. Yeah, everybody's going to be able to relate to this song. Well, we all know that history has proven me right. We brought it back to New York, though, and took it to the record company, and they wouldn't listen to it. No, the president of the company had chosen the song Substitute, and I understand that it had been found by Rick Stevens, who was my A&R man, and he was upset because they wouldn't listen to it. So he went with me to Studio 54. We decided to go to Studio 54.
Which was actually right around the corner from the record company, as I recall.
Right, exactly. And to Richie Kozar. Kozar is did not pronounce his name. And because he was very popular DJ there, and really kind of what do you call, ahead of his time. And so we gave it to him, and he played it, and the audience immediately loved it. They jumped on, they ran to the dance floor. As soon as they heard the arpeggio in the beginning, and Brad can tell you all about that and what he thought about that. But we knew that this was a hit, so we gave him the box of, except for the few that we kept for ourselves, we gave him the box and asked him to distribute it to his DJ friends around New York. He did that, and people began to request it on TV, on radio, and then the radio stations began to ask the record company, where is this song? Because they'd been told to play Substitute. That was the A side. And the record company had to say with much chagrin, it's on the other side of that record that we sent you. So they started turning over, and finally they began to issue it as the A side.
And the interesting backline story to that also is that fellow, that A&R fellow, Rick Stevens at Polydor Records, no longer existed. Rick was really ahead of his time in terms of signing new records. What he would do is he had a friend of his that was a professional soccer player who would travel around the world playing soccer. And at night, the soccer player would go to clubs all over the world in the 70s. And if the soccer player heard a record at a club that a DJ played, he would call Rick Stevens in the middle of the night from a payphone and hold the phone up.
Gloria Gaynor.
Say, this is a record that we like. You should sign this record. The soccer player did that when he had heard this record, Substitute. I think it was in Norway, if I'm
Grab the bow.
right. Rick heard the record, and he decided to sign the record.
What are you obsessed watching?
Hey, Rich, can you put your phone on mute? No worries, man. Thanks. Appreciate that. So at the end of the day, Rick hears the record. He flies the record label to New York to sign the record, Substitute. They shake hands. They do the deal. And within an hour, Rick's attorney calls him and says, Rick is not going to get the record at Polydor. They're going to take the record to CBS. And that's when Rick said he needed to have somebody cover Substitute. He loved it so much. And what an interesting story, because things like that don't happen much anymore. They really don't.
Right.
And of course, the rest is history. And that was now 40 years ago.
Yep.
40 years ago. Before that,
how time does fly.
And that record in 1979 was not only a #1 disco chart record in Billboard, it was a #1 pop record in Billboard. And many disco records did not cross pop back in the day.
Right.
And oh, by the way, I should show you that
I'm feeling
is the record.
Hi. Say hi.
Wow.
And on the B side is I Will Survive.
Hold it up higher.
Wow.
And no, guys, I didn't play this the first time. I actually bought this.
I played it the first.
Gloria, before I Will Survive,
Mhm.
you had Never Can Say Goodbye.
Yes. Yes, I had Never Can Say Goodbye. And that's an interesting story as well, because I had recorded a song I'd been discovered by I was working in a club in New York, and a go-go girl had a
Hey,
manager.
Brad, can you mute
He
everyone's
took me to
microphones?
Peter, can you mute everybody's mic?
at Columbia Records, and the producer took me to Clive Davis. Clive Davis had me do 5 auditions for him. I determined that he just liked my voice, because no way the president of a record company needs to hear somebody sing 5 times before they decide whether or not they could sing well enough for a recording. So anyway, he signed me, and he had me had this duo, the 2 brothers, Melvin and Mervyn Steele, write a song for me called Honeybee. That was my first recording on Columbia Records. And after that, Clive Davis left the company. Nobody was interested in somebody who had been signed onto the company by somebody who was no longer there. So I was kind of lost in the shuffle. And then Bruce Greenberg from MGM heard Honeybee, decided he wanted me on their label, and they were looking for a song to be the next single and title song of the album that they wanted to record with me. I asked them to come down and see my act, in my nightclub act, because we were doing a version of Never Can Say Goodbye that was getting the greatest response of all the songs in the show. So they came down, they heard it, they liked it, they adapted what my band was playing to the arrangement, for an arrangement for the recording. And I recorded Never Can Say Goodbye for MGM Records. And that became a nice.
So this is the story of your professional career as a recording artist. If you can tell us a little bit about how it all started.
It all started, wow. It all started
The real story.
the very beginning.
The very
I was working as a sales auditor in a department store, and I had met a girl, and we were friends, and she had recently married and was having her first child, and I became the godmother. We were on vacation. I was on vacation, and she was still working, and she called me one morning, the first morning of my vacation, and said she was having trouble with her babysitter. Could I come? And I said, yes, I will come. I can watch Maria for 2 weeks until I go back to work, or until you get somebody else. I went to babysit, and every day that I was there, from the very first day, I started hearing somebody walking in the apartment above me. So I thought, at that point in my life, I just wanted someone to hear me sing. I'd grown up with 5 brothers who all sang, didn't know that I could sing because I was a girl. I wasn't allowed to sing with them. And so I just wanted somebody to hear me sing. So I figured if I could hear them walking, if I sang loud enough, they could hear me singing. So I began to follow the footsteps, and every day I would follow the person would come in, I would follow the footsteps. When the footsteps would stop, I would stop and sing. And I did that every day for the 2 weeks that I was babysitting for her. I went back to work, and a couple of weeks later, my brother and I went to a nightclub in Newark, New Jersey, my hometown. And I'm sitting there waiting for service, and someone starts playing, the band starts playing a song that I knew. So it's Save Your Love for Me by Nancy Wilson. Don't know if anybody remembers that. But anyway, I'm singing it to myself. Nobody's hearing me. And suddenly someone goes up on the stage and says, ladies and gentlemen, there's a young lady in the audience. She has a really great voice. We don't know her last name, but we know her first name. And if we give her a great round of applause, maybe we can get her up to sing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gloria. So I'm sitting there, first I was afraid, I was petrified. But my brother, he was not about to let me give up that opportunity. So he kind of pushed me on, and I got up and I went and I sang the song that I had been singing in my seat, got a standing ovation, and the band comes over to me afterwards and asked me if I could be their singer. They said they had a singer, but she was very unreliable, had not shown up that night, and could I sing with them? I was like, yes, that's cool. Oh my God, this is awesome. This is wonderful. I would love that. We can get together for a few weeks. And they said, no, we need you to start tomorrow night. I'm like, oh, wow. Well, therein lies the wisdom that my mother had shared with me about being prepared. Singing was something I'd wanted to do, and I was prepared. I'd had her make me dresses, and I had an autograph album in which I wrote every song that I learned as I learned it. By that time, I had over 250 songs in this autograph album. The next day, I brought the album to them. I said, choose a repertoire, any song you want, because I know them all. We chose a repertoire. I began to sing. I began singing with them, called my job and told them that I was not coming back. And I never looked back.
So you talked about the first time you got this break with this band, and now I don't ask a lady her age, but what I do know is that you're doing, to this day, between 20 and 30 shows a year. Mm-hmm. And you don't do them to track, Gloria. You do them with a full band.
Oh, yes, I do them with. By the way, that one thing I left out of that story, the person who was footsteps I was singing to upstairs was the owner of that club. And when he saw me come in, he told the band about me. So what was your question?
You know, what are you now? About 17 years old. At 17, you're still doing about 20 to 30 shows a year. And you do it with a full band. Most of the artists that had the biggest success with their records in the 70s, if they're still with us physically and they're still performing, will usually perform to track.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
That is not your case.
In quite a while.
You perform with a full band. You perform all over the world. Mm-hmm. Where have you been recently?
The last two shows I did, one was in Hong Kong and one was in Germany.
So things have changed a little bit over the last 4 months, we know, right?
Oh, yes.
And you have, once again, rose to the top with your TikTok hand wash challenge with I Will Survive. You know, this record just, thank God, does not go away. So can you tell us a little bit about the history on that?
Well, we were here, my manager and I, we were doing some things, getting ready for promotion on some things. And she came up with this. We were talking, having a conversation about going out to dinner, and somehow the conversation got around to how, you know, you're out to dinner, you go into the restroom, someone comes in and you're washing your hands, they go in, they use the bathroom, they leave without washing their hands. We're like, you're going to eat and you're not washing your hands? And so we started talking about how important it is in this time with the coronavirus, how important it is to wash your hands often throughout the day, especially when you go in and out of public places. You know, you don't know who's been in there, whether they have the virus or not, and what they've touched and then what you've touched. And I mean, who keeps track of those things? So yeah, you come in and you wash your hands. So we decided, or she decided, that I should do a video to I Will Survive, because of the timing. Gives you a good 20 seconds to wash your hands. So you sing I Will Survive while you're washing your hands, you know you've done it thoroughly. And we never expected that video to go viral. I mean, it was crazy, the response that it got.
You know how many views it has?
I was told over 4 million.
Yeah, it has over 4 million views. Yeah. It has over 4 million views 40 years after you recorded that record.
Wow.
I mean, this is unbelievable. A couple of other fun facts about I Will Survive is that on MTV's VH1 Top 500 Dance Records of all time, I Will Survive is #1.
Wow.
Wow.
That record was also inducted into the National Congress Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That I believe was 2016. In 2017, you were also asked back to give a speech. If I
did a speech on when it was inducted. I went and I did it. They turned a Jefferson, what did they call it, Jefferson Building, into a disco. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. was great. I was
Good balls.
my friends were asking me, when can we get tickets? When can we get tickets? So they told me the night before when the tickets were available. I called my friend. I mean, I texted my friends at like 8 o'clock in the morning and they were sold out. It was sold out like 5 minutes after they went on sale, they were sold out.
Wow.
And it was great. It was a beautiful night. It was a wonderful event and I will never forget it. And during that afternoon, we did a symposium and I did a speech that I think they need to hear again. Because I was just calling people to recognize that, this nation is supposed to be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And, the sooner we get to that, making that happen, the better off we'll all be.
Especially during these times.
Especially during these times.
And I think there is not a more relevant song than I Will Survive for what's going on with COVID, what's going on socially, not just in this country, but around the world. So that was then.
Mm-hmm.
And this is now.
Yes.
This is a leading question because I sort of know the answer, but people on this call may not.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is going on with you, Gloria?
Well, I'm doing a cooking show, which I just did 2 hours ago with Glenn Rolnick from Carmine's in New York. And we do it on Instagram Live, and it's been doing well. This is just our second one that we've done, but we've got pretty good response to it. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm doing my autobiography. It's coming out soon on A&E. We're also going to do a film. The documentary is coming out on A&E. We're going to do a full feature film on it, on my life. And I also have these T-shirts that I'm doing to encourage women. It's all about female power and that we can do anything we want to do. So these T-shirts have who we're calling a little Gigi, and it's a little figure that was created for us. And one is a judge, one is a policeman, one is an astronaut, one is a veterinarian, one's a doctor. So all these things to encourage young girls that they can be whatever they choose to be. And so that's going to be on Amazon. And we also have I Will Survive masks that I have been selling to support a animal rescue organization that we're very, very fond of, Dan and Ron's Animal Rescue in South Carolina and in Florida. And they do a wonderful job with rescuing animals. So, those are some of the things that I'm doing.
Other than that, it seems like you have nothing to do.
Yeah, I know.
Hanging around and you.
And I'm writing a book.
And you're writing a book. So do you sleep at all?
Not much.
Okay, I understand that. Who were some of your early influences musically?
My early influences were Nat King Cole, Gloria Lynn, Nancy Wilson, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, Barbra Streisand. These were people that I feel taught me to sing because I felt that they had things in their performances that weren't really widespread, shall I say. Like from Nat King Cole, I learned diction. From Frank Sinatra, I learned phrasing. From Gloria Lynn, I learned emotionalizing. From who else? But from each one of them, I learned something that I thought would add to my ability to put across a song, because I'm a lyricist, and I feel, and my purpose in singing has always been to bring across the meaning and emotion that the writer intended. And I believe that all of these people, with their techniques and their abilities, their talents, have helped me to be a better singer.
As you did with I Will Survive. Another massive club record for you was I Am What I Am.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, my producer at the time was Joel Diamond, and he had gone to see La Cage aux Folles and on Broadway, and that song that song stole the show. So he came to me with this great idea to produce it as a disco song, and asked me was I interested and what did I think, and I thought it was a great idea, was off for it, and so we very quickly did it and released it.
And some of the videos that are available on YouTube of you singing that record are classic. Over the course of your life, these decades, you know, the outfits may change, but the message always remains the same, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It always remains the same.
It's all
And
about-
we are grateful to have you on this call. I'm not going to take too much of your time. You are a legend amongst legends.
Thank you.
We wish you the very best of luck. I know all your social media handles are at Gloria Gaynor.
Yes.
If there's anything you need from any of us, let us know. And finally, of course, the new version of I Will Survive 2020 was just released by Universal Music. Again, 4 decades afterwards, and there's no better time than now for that kind of record. Gloria Gaynor, I am grateful
Thank
to
you
have you.
so much. Thank all you guys for listening.
Thank you, Gloria. It was a pleasure to remix the record. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Thank you
Is there
so
anything
much.
that anybody on the call wants to say to Gloria?
I have a real quick one about I Am What I Am. I used to know back in Indiana. When I did the talent show there, I did Culture Club. And then they started calling me obscure fag boy, Cowden, everything. I was like, okay, I'm leaving this town, but I'm going to leave on a good note. So I auditioned for the talent show, did Boy George. But the night of the contest, I did Gloria Gaynor, I Am What I Am. And as I did it, my brother put me in drag and stripped out of makeup, walked off stage as a boy, finishing out your song. So your song had a major impact.
God bless
So
you.
thank you.
Wonderful. Bless you.
Wow.
Thank you. Anybody else on the call?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Yes.
Eric Cupper.
Yeah.
This is Eric who remixed your record, Gloria.
Great. Wonderful.
Hi, I just wanted to say hello, and to remix this record was such a high point. And again, like first I was afraid. I was petrified. I was like, what am I going to do to this record to make it, to equal it, you know, to get it anywhere close? And all I could say is I gave it my all, and I think, you know, I'm happy with the result, and I hope you are too.
Yes, absolutely. Great. Thank you so much.
Gloria, thank you again for everything.
Real
We
pleasure.
wish you the best of luck in the future. I don't think luck is what you need, however. I really don't think so. God bless you.
All of you. Thank you so much.
Have a lovely day.
Great to see you.
Stay safe.
Be well.
Bye-bye.